So Kira Soderstrom is from all the way here from San Francisco. I actually think she might be the furthest away. Kira is a senior technical specialist at Microsoft specializing in AI and machine learning. She has played a key role in driving the adoption of AI solutions across various industries, focusing on the Azure AI portfolio, responsible AI practices, and solution architecture. So let's join Kira now as she dives into leveraging the power of Microsoft Copilot and Enterprise AI to drive innovation and efficiency in your business. Kira's presentation will explore practical ways to integrate these cutting-edge technologies into your daily operations, from streamlining workflows, unlocking new growth opportunities. In this session, she will uncover how developing on Azure and OpenAI can help you stay ahead of the competition. So without further ado, let's give it up for Kira.
Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for coming today. I'm going to start out with a demo. This is a pre-recorded demo of my welcome speech.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Opkalla 2024 Tech Summit. As we begin this new, exciting trip into copilots and generative AI, whether you are just curious about AI or have already begun your AI journey, there is something here for you. We have plenty of exciting talks for you today, and even more on the horizon. Welcome.
All right, you might be wondering why I played that, because that was easy to say, right? All right, so I thought it'd be fun to open with a demo. This is a speech service of ours. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Azure AI and these services later in our talk. But notice that I've uploaded this video. It's translated it to Spanish. I could translate it to a variety of other languages as well if I so choose to. Let's see it in Spanish.
Hola a todos y bienvenidos al Opkalla 2024 Tech Summit. Al comenzar este nuevo y emocionante viaje hacia los copilotos y la IA generativa, ya sea que solo tengan curiosidad por la IA o que ya hayan comenzado su viaje en este campo, hay algo aquí para ustedes. Tenemos muchas charlas emocionantes para ustedes hoy, y aún más en el horizonte. Bienvenidos.
All right, any Spanish speakers out there? Was that pretty good? I saw a hand up, so some thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you for that. And you'll notice that it was actually in my voice. So you can have that custom in your voice. There's a lot of powerful use cases and scenarios that are enabled out of the box. But without further ado, let's jump into my talk. Okay, before we really kick off and get to the meat of it, I wanted to put this up on the screen because I wanted to ask you if this looks familiar to any of you. The office used to be a very serious place, filled with slacks, looking like working in cubicles like this. It had a certain type of stiffness alongside that environment. Things are different today, aren't they? At Microsoft, we talk about striving to help businesses in their journey to become modern workplaces, environments that are flexible, employee-centric, decentralized, yet still very much connected, that empower teams to work together securely across any device from anywhere. The modern workplace helps businesses attract, retain talent, increase team productivity, satisfaction, and take advantage of new ways of working. We're at a unique moment in time that's made possible in large part by the digitization of business. Entire industries are transforming. The macroeconomic environment is shifting. We are at a technological inflection point. We haven't seen this type of ramping up and diffusion in the tech industry ever. Now we see this gentle growth curve to adoption is not a slow incline. It's actually a vertical line. If you look at the time to 100 million users, mobile phones took 16 years, internet 7, Facebook 4.5, and ChatGPT only 3 months. Now let's look at where this is all going with Microsoft technology. All right. Every time I see that video, it kind of amps me up. So the Microsoft Work Trend Index spans industry surveys with empirical studies to offer up insight into how trends are reshaping the work for everyday employees and leaders. This report measures qualitative and quantitative impact of Copilot on productivity. And we took a broad and comprehensive approach. The study that I'm going to be sharing with you today is of the Early Access Program. And we also executed 7 other observational studies. But before we go into those results, let's first talk about why this actually matters. Digital debt is costing us innovation. We are all carrying digital debt. The volume of data, emails, meetings, and chats has outpaced humans' ability to keep up with it all and process it all. Somehow, it's easier than ever to communicate, but it's harder than ever to keep up. And this digital debt is actually compounding as speed of work intensifies. There are only so many minutes in every day, and the data shows that every minute that we waste managing this digital debt is a minute that's not spent on creative work and innovation. Productivity patterns in Microsoft 365 are actually a window into how many of us spend our time. The average person spends about 60% of their time communicating. So this is emails, meetings, and chats, and so forth. And they actually only spend 40% of their time being creative. So working in tools like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And this is a lens into, I imagine, how we spend our time outside of the Microsoft environment as well. Looking for information, getting caught up, figuring out where that detail was, where that email was. Did you miss anything? Have you been out of office? Those things take up a majority of our time. And work shouldn't be this hard, right? The heaviest users spent 2 full days simply managing their inbox and attending work meetings each week. The number 1 productivity disruptor actually was inefficient meetings. Like I had mentioned, most employees say it's difficult to brainstorm, catch up if they joined late, and that next steps are often unclear. And since February 2020, we're in 3 times many more meetings and calls a week. And in a world where creativity is a new productivity, digital debt is more than an inconvenience. It's actually a threat to innovation. And this is actually where AI becomes game-changing. When we surveyed these users to learn and understand how they were using Copilot, we saw that 70% of the users said that they were more productive with Copilot. And not only that, but I'm going to just go off this. 68% said that Copilot improved their quality of work. Early users said that they don't want to go back to working without it. We actually interviewed people. 70% said they didn't want to give it up. And not only that, but we asked these users whether they would prefer to have a free lunch or Copilot. And 80% of the users said that they would prefer to have Copilot. And 30% even said that it would influence their choice of employer. 64% spent less time processing their emails, or as some of you may call it, triage, because it feels like you're just going through one email simply to get to the next. 75% of their users said they spent less time searching for information, and 3.8% faster catching up on meetings. We actually asked our users across 3 categories. 1 was searching for information across multiple sources, 2, summarizing a meeting recording, and 3, writing a blog post. It took people 29 minutes to do that instead of 42. So that's a substantial improvement. And the best of our users, in a short period of time, saved 10 hours a month, over 10 hours actually. Could you imagine if every single month you had 10 extra hours back? And it's only getting better from here. And so I just wanted to drop this, this link here. This is where we had that research posted, and we have other research that's also posted there. And I know I gave you a demo at the very beginning of the session. This is some lower level granularity in what Copilot can look like in chat.
Introducing Microsoft 365 Chat, a powerful new capability in Microsoft 365 to solve your most complex problems at work. Let's say you're a marketer at a national chain of home improvement stores, and you need to get the latest on the store opening. You start your day with Copilot, asking what's hot in your inbox today. It does some thinking and gives you an overview of the most pressing items. Great. Looks like the new store opening plans could use your attention. Let's dive in deeper there. Copilot combs through all your recent emails, chats, documents, and meetings, whether you attended them or not, to get you up to speed in moments. It didn't just summarize a single document, it knew what sources to pull from, and what information to extract from each. Next, you need to do some market research. Let's say you want some details on square footage and the proximity of competitors to your new location. M365 Chat scours the web, and within seconds, it finds everything you're looking for. And it includes references, so you can easily fact-check the results.
So imagine functionality like this, being able to join a Teams meeting late, chat with the Copilot, and see what information you've missed, see what John Smith has talked about. Maybe he's your manager and you want to get up to speed so you're not lost and you can actually feel like you're participating in the conversation. That's very important. And when you're out of office, or if you have so many meetings on your calendar, you can't possibly attend them all. You can actually see a summary recap and have a chat with your own data on that summary of the meeting. And so what I've shared with you is Microsoft 365 Copilot. You have Copilot that combines the power of large language models, and it works with your Graph API to understand what you should and should not have access to. And it also combines the internet to serve you the right information and to be the most powerful productivity tool. And not only that, but it's built on Microsoft's comprehensive approach to security, compliance, privacy, and responsible AI. So you know it's enterprise ready. But I've been talking a lot about copilots. I've been just throwing this word around. And for those of you who are not familiar with copilots, you might just say, oh, why does she keep using this word? And she's going to be using this word in a lot of different contexts. But if I can boil down copilots as simply as possible, our definition at Microsoft is an intelligent AI assistant that uses generative AI and large language models to assist humans with complex cognitive tasks. The more complex the task, the bigger value that Copilot delivers. And so, as an end user, we talked about early adopters with that study, that observational study. What do you need to know as an end user? You need to know what to ask it to do. it's like everyone's becoming their own manager. And so when you request Copilot to do something, you request it through prompts, and that's just a series of words. But you want it to be the most meaningful prompts and the most informative prompts, because if your manager has ever asked you to do something and you're just like, well, I don't have enough context to do that, or I'm going to guess and they're going to come back and then maybe you missed a step because you didn't have the right context. This is the same thing. So you want to be specific about what you need. So the art and science of prompting. These are the 4 key elements that we recommend. 1, what's the goal? What response do you want from Copilot? 2, context. Why do you need it and who is involved? 3, source. Which information sources or samples should Copilot use? And 4, expectations. How should Copilot respond to best meet your expectations? And let's see what a tangible example of this looks like. On the next slide, we have 2 prompts. The first prompt being, 1, write a blog post about sustainable practices in agriculture. All right, it's going to come back with something, and it's probably going to be relevant. But if you want to be a little bit more specific, you can say, craft a 1,500-word blog post for a general audience interested in sustainability, focusing on the significance and benefits of sustainable agricultural practices like organic farming and agroforestry. Include real-world examples, innovative technologies, and insights from reputable sources. Conclude with a reflection on the importance of these practices and a call for collective efforts to embrace them. That's a lot more detail, right? So the more specific you can get, the better responses you are going to get. All right, and at Microsoft, we're actually embedding Copilot into every one of our products. So I've covered the SaaS offerings, the software as a service ones that are embedded out of the box. We've covered Teams. With PowerPoint, you can upload a PDF, ask it to create a presentation, because the hardest part of any task really is getting started. It does a really great job, and then you can chat with it and ask it to make updates, or you could edit it manually yourself from there once you have a good starting point. So I'm not going to bore you with the details of all these different services right now, but I'm sure some of you use a good amount of them, some more than others. But even Fabric, we're embedding it so that you can build your own workflows with code. Think about that low code or fast to code type of productivity enhancement. It can help you get to early release, pilot, production faster than you could before. All right, so we've been talking about these out of the box, the SaaS offerings. We have adopting the copilots. We have the opportunity to extend the copilots. Now, what does that mean? That's Power Platform, low code, no code, Copilot Studio, if you're familiar with that. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. And then the last one is build your own Copilot in an infrastructure as a service type of perspective. So think about your mission critical applications, getting to code quickly, embedding them in already existing applications, anything that you need to do lower level that's even highly regulated or anything of that nature. You can really have all the fine-grained control from a code first perspective. All right, so Copilot Studio. What will this look like at a high level? So, is my video going? Oh, uh-oh. Can we go back to the last one? Back. All right, I think we're rock and rolling. So we have we have the prompt, and the prompt goes to the metadata triggers. You ask, what you want to find, and then you would go to your Microsoft Graph, and then you might have other components that you need to grab from maybe your CRM, ERP, HR system, and have embedded logic in what you want it to do. And then it will grab that information, go to the large language model. It augments that information. That's like retrieval augmented generation. generation process. So you're able to go and get information that's relevant for this model, pass it to the model, and then pass it back to the user. And that's how large foundational models and Copilot will reason over your information. It does not know what it does not have access to. So if I want to ask it, who won the Olympics, but it wasn't trained on that data, how would it possibly be able to tell you? So we want to make sure it gets the right information. All right, so the Copilot Studio, how it enables you to do that is it has all these out-of-the-box connectors. It's built on Power Platform, the Power Platform technology, the low-code, no-code. It enables SMEs, subject matter experts, to kind of come into an environment and build even though they don't have the technical chops. And as the industry evolves, we are going more towards low-code, no-code, because if you have an easy button, why wouldn't you use it? And then Azure AI Studio offers a wide range of AI services and models to build the entire AI development lifecycle. When you think about that, you think about that code first experience, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail shortly. These two actually can work well together if you wanted, and this is what your Copilot stack could look like. You can have Copilot Studio as your front end, Azure AI Studio and Azure as your back end, and all of your other kind of data plumbing, AI infrastructure, security, and orchestration. So Microsoft Azure AI is front and center, of course. We have many services that we are able to leverage. We have our Azure AI language, AI Translate, Azure AI Speech, which is what I demoed at the top of the call. We have Vision, our OpenAI service, our Azure Search, and that helps us go and retrieve the relevant information to send to the language model. Document intelligence, our OCR, cognitive safety, our content safety. We have harm categories. We identify whether or not someone has hateful speech, if there's sexual speech, if there's violent speech, if there's IP infringements. We have all this functionality. We can pass the prompts through this before they hit the foundational models and back through that before we go to the end user. And you can set up logging too. I think that is, when I talk to customers, something that is always top on their mind. If you're going to build something that isn't safe or responsible, why would you build it? That's so much liability, right? There's always gates and checks with your privacy and security and compliance team. And we have a lot of APIs that you can call to support you in that journey, and then also tools and controls that you could configure. And so those are AI services, Azure Machine Learning. We can that enables people to work through the entire full development life cycle with pipelines and responsible AI tuning, and then the Azure AI Studio. As I mentioned, it has all of this functionality. I'm going to share a screenshot of it and talk to you about like some high-level components, but there's so many different models that you actually have access to. So even if you didn't want to use OpenAI models, you can use Microsoft's Phi models, you can use Meta models, you can use Hugging Face or Llama. So we have all of these models, and these are some of the top Azure AI use cases: content generation, summarization, code generation, semantic search, so that retrieval component, and a lot of scenarios and call center. There's so many more, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least name a few. So this is actually what the Azure AI Studio looks like. That model catalog, I think we have over 1,500 models. So if you're curious, if you have really long context windows, if you want to upload a document, like a book that's 800 pages and just chat with that book, you would want to have a different model because every model has a different personality. And when you go into the model catalog, it will actually tell you what the benefits of each model is. And some of them allow you to chat and play around with them directly before deploying them and consuming any costs. Now, after that, you have the model benchmarks. We have open source data that we evaluate these models against because you might not know exactly where to start. We have The chat playground assist, which we'll demo really quickly. The assistance, that is for autonomous, helps with the autonomous agent story, and we can chat more about that offline because I simply don't have enough time to cover that. But you can see these tools down here: code, prompt flow, tracing, evaluation, fine tuning. Tracing actually allows you to put your own custom logging into the code. You have prompt flow, so if you want to embed any other logic, code first, into those applications, it actually helps you get up and running to production very quickly. You could create a prompt flow in a matter of a week to 2 weeks and be rolling in production in within the month, which is unheard of typically. And then you have evaluation. How can you move from one model to the next? Is your model grounded on your data? Is it reliable? How is it performing? And so this is kind of what it could look like if you're playing in this playground. This playground is uploading an image. It looks like a some type of list, and we wanted to extract the text in this image. It's handwritten. It says that it reads milk and steak, but it shows a section of handwriting in the note. It's likely a grocery list. Sections are blanked out. It's smart enough to know that. So next, we're actually going to be uploading the full image and see how it handles that. It says extract all the images and explain what you see in this text. It has the grocery list, and at the bottom it says beer, 1 pack, not the full fridge. So it was able to pick that up. And if you wanted to do something else with this information, you can always then grab this information, embed it somewhere else. But this is just an example of the functionality. This is in the chat playground. So you have 1 click away to get to code. You have 1 click away to get to prompt flow. You can add your own data through the UI or a data source. There's a variety of ways of doing that. There's certain parameters, like if you want to control the randomness, you can do that. There's a lot to explore here. And you're also 1 click away from deploying to a web app. And the reason why I want to point that out is because you usually want to have your subject matter experts test this, but maybe they don't want to go into this type of portal, and then they have the ability to do so in a web app that gets deployed with an ARM template, and they can chat with the experience and even have history tied back to Cosmos DB. I actually wasn't able to do the live demo, so I created a recording of this before we got here. This is a call center report. It tracks sentiment analysis. This is embedded with many different services. We'll check the architecture in a little bit, but this is kind of more an example of what an end-to-end scenario could look like. If I'm managing a call center, I have all these metrics that are pulled. Who's answered what calls, what the handling time wait looks like. From there, I can, I want to make sure people have a better experience. So I can click into a user. I can see he's not satisfied. He's predicted to churn. And so we created an advertising campaign using ChatGPT. And it says that we regret any inconvenience you've experienced. And it's our mission to ensure your satisfaction, giving a we care promotion to them. Now, if we see someone who had a positive experience, if we want to click into what an advertising campaign would look like for them, promotionally, we can see that they are happy, how long, how many months they've been around. And we can make sure we retain that customer with a loyalty 30% discount checkout. And so these are all different kind of components of this architecture. We have loading, ingesting, pre-processing, reading data, registering it, model deployment, AML for assets, customer data, and storage in one lake. So we had Fabric, Azure OpenAI, and all those other components as part of the data and logic to identify whether or not I didn't play enough talking time. And this is another chat experience. Submit response. This can be, these are recommendations of what to say to this, this customer. And we can also have the recommendations go.
This red dress from your store, but unfortunately,
Volume.
I received the wrong size.
We can have the recommendations recommend to them in real time after they process this information.
Let's get this sorted out for you. Can you please confirm your order ID?
Yes, my order ID is 123456.
Thank you for confirming, Ms. Jones. I can see that you have ordered a sleeveless red dress. What would you like to do next? Would you like a refund, replacement, or return?
I would like a replacement with the correct size. Can you arrange that for me?
Absolutely, Ms. Jones. I can arrange a replacement for you. Based on your order ID, I can see you bought it from Luxury Fantasy store in LA. So can you please confirm this for me?
Yes, I bought it from the Luxury Fantasy store in LA.
Great, I noted your store as Luxury Fantasy. Can you please provide your shipping address and contact number for the replacement?
Sure, my shipping address is 1234 Imaginary Lane, Los Angeles, California 90001, and my contact number is 12345678890.
And next, I send a promotional offer, but if you are watching this as it goes, you can see the sentiment has gone up and down. We've been evaluating the real-time chat. We've been recommending what to say to the call center agent so that they can give the right type of information at that point in time. And this is what that type of architecture could look like. You have a web app, you have Azure AI Search, you have these different series of models, the customer and the agent, and your data backed in one like in Microsoft Fabric. So there's a lot of powerful capabilities when you tie these together, and you can even have this entire text written down. You can extract the conversation. You can add additional line items, 8, 9, 10, what you want to extract from the conversation. And then you can also pass it in a machine readable format so that it can be pulled up to other applications. So there's a lot of powerful things that you can do with this type of technology. And it really depends on your business needs because every industry is a little bit different. So you can see this is going to the machine readable format, like I mentioned. All right. Now let's jump to the next demo.
We're going to get our avatar loaded up. It is ready to go. You'll see on the right that we support a variety of different languages. We also can set it to multilingual support. Let's jump back to the United States one for now. And this is going to be an avatar chatbot. You can ground it with additional data. Right now, it's not currently grounded on additional data. Let's try it out. Good morning. What can you do?
Good morning. I'm here to assist with information, tasks, and questions you might have.
All right, so I want to see if it can tell me what the weather is like in Florida, but first I'm going to update the response type, the response system message. And so it says it's an intelligent chatbot and who ends every statement by complimenting people who just traveled to North Carolina for a tech summit. So this area is going to give you the personality of that chatbot. You can refine it. You can embed responsible AI logic into it as well. So let's save these changes and see how it performs. I also expect it not to tell me how the weather is today. Hi, can you tell me what the weather is today in Florida?
I'm really sorry. I can't provide real-time weather updates. But how wonderful it is that you made it to North Carolina for that tech summit. Your dedication to staying informed is truly impressive.
All right, I love it. Okay, so a lot of neat stuff here that you can embed. You can also change your avatar. We can also create our own voice for an avatar like that, or embedded
Can
in
we pause
other
this for a quick
areas
second?
of our ecosystem.
Okay. One thing that I just wanted to mention is the reason why I didn't expect it to go and query live weather data is because we didn't configure it to. It was just hitting the foundational model. So I just wanted to add that clarifying point. And I have one final demo for you. Can I get a little bit of help pushing play on the last side? Oh, no, not that one.
We can also create our own voice for an avatar like that, or embedded in other areas of our ecosystem. So I've actually recorded 50 samples of my voice. I read the script off, and I could play one of these.
Always remember that I'll be there to help you with your problems.
And so we have this training data. It took me 0.8 hours to train. We have a model I had to sign off that I could use my voice. And I have deployed this model. So let's go ahead and test the endpoint. Notice there's sample code down here, so you could plug it into any of your applications.
Whether you are just curious about AI or have already well on your AI journey.
Oh. Oh no, the rest of the demo ended. Did someone click through on the up there? All right, I guess we won't get the rest of it, or towards the. Keep going, keep going. Maybe it's stuck, but I'm happy to share it with you at the end of the day. If you come and visit in the Microsoft room, I'm more than happy to talk to you. I'm happy to talk about any of these services and demos. I was going to give them live, but it didn't work that I could give them live today. So happy to do that later on. And it's really neat that you can speak for less than an hour or less than 2 minutes and have an avatar pick up your voice. Of course, there's security and privacy concerns, or sign off and everything of that nature. But there's so much opportunity and promise in what we have, and we're on the horizon of that cutting edge, that vertical line. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great day.